Welcome to TIA Talks. My name is Jason, your host, and today I've got very special guests with me, Keagan from Sapiens and Bianca from Bryte Insurance Company. Welcome, guys. It's always big. It's always nerve-wracking for me to have these big shots in my little studio here. Bianca, you are an exec at Bryte. Please just give us a little bit of more info, what you do, how you do it, and who you are, because I don't think many people will know who you are.
All right, so Bianca Radzilani, and I work at Bryte Insurance, and I'm responsible for all of the UMA partners, which is basically in international speak, which is an MGA. So we basically mandate an entity to underwrite on our behalf and to settle claims on our behalf. It just gives us administrative reach, so to speak, but it's very specific on product and expertise. So to give you an example, we've got an underwriter that just writes pet insurance. But another underwriter that just focuses on liability.
By underwriter, Bianca, I know that I just want to clarify for the guys listening.
Yeah.
By underwriter, do you mean the person in your office that's an underwriter? Or do you mean like a company outside that is a niche kind of, what are you actually meaning by that?
It's the latter. It's a company that's outside of Bryte, that's running their own outfit, all the way from underwriting to claims, that we partner with because we like their approach, we like their entrepreneurial spirit, we also like their product very much. So we enter into an arrangement because we are the insurer and we have the license, and then we mandate them to write for and on our behalf.
Sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's an individual, sometimes it's individuals that run that company. From a Bryte perspective, we like partnerships, and that's why I'm here. And we like entrepreneurs. So we usually back the individual and back his or her idea on how they see, the product or distribution, and how we're going to collectively differentiate ourselves in the market.
Sure. Okay, we're going to take a short break because I've got lots of ideas and I don't want any of you hearing this because I want to partner with Bryte on some of them. So, okay, I'm just kidding. Keagan, welcome.
Thank you,
I've
Jason.
had Cully in the studio.
Right.
I've had Gary in the studio.
Right.
And both just made me laugh the entire time. Keagan, you are from Sapiens. I know that.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about
yes.
you. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, Jason. So good to be here. I'm a big fan. A bit nervous today, but yeah. So I actually work in the same team as Kali and Gary. New business, business development, and account management at Sapiens. Gary touched a little bit about what Sapiens does in terms of our core business. It's a policy administration solution for insurers. We focus only on the insurance vertical, both on the life and pension side and the short-term side.
Oh, you guys do life and pension too?
We do.
Oh,
we do.
I didn't know that.
We got quite a strong footprint in South Africa, actually. Bianca, part of Bryte. Bryte is one of our clients.
Oh, wait, this sounds like the partnerships thing happening.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. It was quite a good pay up.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a nutshell, in terms of my personal role at Sapiens, I am responsible for new business development in the entire African continent. I wear a bit of a two-hat role. I also look after some of our big clients in South Africa from an account management perspective. That pretty much sums me up.
Sure.
At Sapiens.
Whenever someone from Sapiens opens their mouth, I kind of glaze over because a lot of the time it's like this technological jargon that I'm just hearing. And it's like, you said, what, MGA?
Yeah, that's the global acronym for a managing governing agent. We call it the UMA, which is underwriting manager.
Okay, so I'm actually getting somewhere. Okay, so that wasn't one of the technological things. It was just another word. Okay,
Yes.
okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so then Sapiens and Bryte, you guys collaborate quite often. It seems like you guys know each other and stuff too. What type of partnerships do you guys come up with? Just out of interest sake.
So look, I'll speak from a software vendor perspective. I mean, we like to think of our customers as partners. I mean, it's really important to have a vendor. Our engagements are really long term, 10 years plus. And I think it's really important to have sight of your customers' strategies, both short term, long term. I think we can all agree that short term insurance is really competitive at the moment. It's moving very quickly. And we've got to remain really close to our customers. And that's why we actually treat them as partners. And just expanding on that a little bit as well is, we also expanded our partnership. We work a lot with what we refer to as ecosystem partners, and that's other tech companies that sort of serve different parts of the insurance spectrum. So Sapiens does policy administration, and we do what we do, and we do it well.
Okay.
And we focus on that. And in order to us to better our software and remain focused, we use our ecosystem partners. For example, Earnix in pricing, or Microsoft on the infrastructure side. And that's how we sort of differentiate in terms of ecosystem partners and partners being our customers.
Sure. And then Bianca, on your side, I mean, you mentioned UMAs and stuff. I just, how do you find these guys? Because there's so many UMAs out there. I mean, we had the Salma, they came through, and they told us about all the different UMAs that are out there, and they're so niche. And I'm finding that the need in an insurer for like a niche underwriter is there. I mean, because there's not no expertise, but there's little expertise in that area, and then you would obviously partner with them. But how do you find the right partners? Because you mentioned entrepreneurial spirit and those type of things. Is it just me coming up with a good idea, coming to you and saying, Bianca, I know you. We've been on a talk show together. Can you help me out, help a brother out? Let me start a business in a business. I don't think that that's how it's done. So, and I'm pretty sure that your business unit looking after this is not just a willy-nilly kind of business. You guys go through like the strategy, long-term strategy, and all of these different things that make a partnership, because I find it's a relationship at the end of the day. And you have to get to know that person or business to actually build a relationship properly. So how do you choose these guys?
So it starts off with the product. And that's always the thing. It starts off with the product. If we see the need in the market for the product, we'll partner. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what we refer to as the jockey. Who's behind the product? Do we have aligned vision? Because from a Bryte perspective, we don't enter into partnerships for a year or two. It's a very long-term journey. So we back the partner, we back the entrepreneur, we back his or her vision. And once we get there, then we just believe that that's going to happen, and we'll give all of the support. Other things that are important to us is an alignment from a cultural perspective. We will not get into relationship with any partner, regardless of how grand the product proposition is and how great the distribution is. If there is a misalignment with regards to our values, and our values are very simple: integrity. Treat me the way you want to be treated. Let's not bet the company. Let's be entrepreneurial. Let's look for opportunities. Things like that.
Let's not bet the company.
Let's not bet the company. Risk is lovely, and we must approach risk with purpose, but we mustn't be reckless. And if I give you my pen and I trust you to go and write business, I trust that you will write good business and not just leak.
That hasn't been used in a while, hey?
Yeah.
Giving you my pen.
Giving you my
Hey,
pen.
I think that's I haven't heard that in about 8 years.
It's
because
still-
insurers took my pen away, and not because I was doing anything dodgy, but that was life. Black box became a thing.
Yes, and I think it still holds true because it just it brings that tangibility to it. I'm actually giving you my pen. I'm giving you the ability to write.
Right.
If I were to use an example, our travel business, we started, so I see next door we've got lots of travel agencies, and that's what sparked the idea. 2013, we were not in the travel space. We identified an entrepreneur who knew the space. Her name is Henriette, and we approached her and we entered into partnership. 0 GWP, nothing.
Oh, wow. Just somebody who knew.
Somebody who knew, and somebody who had the passion, the expertise, and also the network that could help us grow. And we genuinely liked us. So there was this one person started this team. Fast forward to 2025, we are close on 40% market share.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So because I
We're the
only
lead.
see Bryte travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
Great.
Because it's definitely by design.
Is it travel and leisure?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
There we
travel
go.
and leisure. So
If I'm honest, I only use Bryte.
no,
There
listen,
you
that's
go.
why I'm here. Because if you guys had said any of the others, I was going to drink the coffee and leave.
Don't forget the pens. Sapiens
forget
brought
the
us pens. I just want to let you know, Sapiens got us pens because I always tune the coffee. So
Yeah.
Keagan, thank you for my pen, but I'm going to tune you one more time. I need an iPad pen.
There we go.
An Apple Pencil. So I don't know where this is going to be used. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
I
continue.
like to write. And, at the time, the travel market, the whole market share was probably about 350, 380
million.
Yeah. And the question we had to ask, like, why are we entering into this market? We believed that there's opportunity in this market, and we believe the entrepreneur. That market is currently sitting at 800, of which we have 40% of it.
Wow. So the
story
market
is more-
was 350.
The market was
You
350.
grew the market and took 40% of it.
Yes. So,
It's a good partnership.
But that's the thing. Sometimes you look at the opportunity, you think, oh goodness, what am I going to do with 350? Why can't I go into construction or engineering, whatever the case may be?
Right.
But if you listen to the entrepreneur, they say, listen, this is where the market is. This is where the opportunity is if we do things like this. So to your question, yes, sometimes they come to us and sometimes it's a co-creation. We see an opportunity and then I come to you and I say, listen, I think that you would be the perfect person to actually, head up this proposition for us for whatever reasons. Maybe it's your skills, expertise, your leadership ability, your reinsurance understanding. It just depends on the product.
Sure.
Yeah.
It makes me think of TIA. I know that this is TIA Talks, but it really does make me think of the show itself when we come up with tasks and we come up with ideas. And then sometimes those ideas actually get put into practice. They become a reality.
Yeah.
We've seen it after some of the seasons where there's been one or two products that come about or some sort of partnership where it came through just somebody getting noticed and somebody giving an idea, and the platform was there to give an idea. So what other platforms are there for people like me who I know, and I know this might be a joke to a few, but after this conversation, I'm definitely having a proper conversation with you guys, because where do we go if we know we've got something, where there's that fire burning inside the entrepreneur saying, I think there's a market, and you might not see it, but I really think I can tap into this. Where can they go to build these partnerships? Because I find that it's not who you know, it's how well you know them sometimes. So getting to know Bryte or getting to know a Hollard or anyone, sometimes that high level exec doesn't just come onto your podcast. You actually have to get in touch with these people and make plans. So where do we go for this type of thing?
So I would say, and I do agree, sometimes it's difficult to get to, an insurance company directly to the exec for insurance partnerships. But we've got a number of facilities. I mean, we've got FII, we've got, not FII, FIA, we've got Sawuma, we have a number of different facilities. And what's good about Bryte is that we've got such a big regional footprint. We've got offices everywhere. So all one needs to do is to get into contact with somebody from Bryte and then ask to
Who's
chat
this
to me.
person? Yeah.
Exactly. And I must say, the thing that makes us successful from Bryte is that we don't have, that's one of our values, we don't have egos. So I meet with everybody. You've got an idea, listen, let's chat, because from
What's
those
your email
discussions, from those discussions, I mean, we've had the guys I spoke about, One Plan. These are two brothers that had an awesome idea
One
of
Plan.
health. One Plan, health insurance.
Is that Bryte?
Yes, that's Bryte. Yes, an awesome idea on health insurance. And where did we meet? At the AIE in Sun City.
Wow.
Yeah, and from there we got to chatting. And we formed a partnership, and then from there onwards, they moved on to other propositions like pet insurance and GAP.
Fantastic.
And we've been in partnership in excess of 10 years.
Wow.
And we met at Sun City.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So sometimes some of these things, they they just happen, but sometimes you need to be more deliberate about reaching out, whether it's on LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. I make an effort that I respond to every message on LinkedIn, and if I see opportunity, I'll have a chat to you. And if I don't, I will tell you that, listen, this is where your proposition is failing. How are you going to distribute it? If you don't have a distribution, then it makes it a little bit difficult. Or if you bring in a proposition that I already have, I don't have the appetite for that conflict because it's not differentiating, then I'll be clear with you and say, listen, it's just not something we're looking for currently.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to that as well, I mean, working with a lot of our clients, we're actually starting to see they're hosting these thought leadership programs where you can, I mean, you don't even have to belong to the company, but you can register and it's fully controlled, and they pitch ideas, it's innovative, and few of our clients actually host, in fact, we do as well, these, used to be called hackathons or program marathons or competitions. And actually a lot of great ideas that actually goes to market comes from these thought leadership groups, which is
Yeah.
absolutely
And I would say
fantastic.
TIA is actually one of those platforms.
Absolutely.
It's like it's a thought leadership
100%.
space.
100%.
And I love it because it's like a think tank. I never thought about insurance the way that I do now prior to TIA because I actually had a platform to just voice stuff. I could just have a conversation and say, "Oh, Keegs, I've got this idea. What do you think?" You can tell me it's crap, and then we move on. But I would sit on that idea for 2 years before that because I thought this is a good idea. But I'm a broker in a small space in this industry, and I didn't see that there was so much other stuff that I could actually get my hands, and get my hands dirtier with it.
Yeah.
Sure, partnerships. Okay, this brings me to my next point. But before I get there, I think let's have a cup of coffee, and then we can jump straight into embedded products. Thank you.
But
The insurance industry is changing fast. The way we work, the risks we face, and clients' expectations are evolving every single day. That's where Sapiens comes in. They're building cutting-edge technology that helps insurers stay ahead, streamlining processes, reducing inefficiencies, and making the entire experience smarter. If you're in the industry, this is the tech you need to know about. Learn more at sapiens.com. But something that I've been seeing, or this word that I've been seeing everywhere, is embedded products. Embedded. What the hell is that? Because I did have a conversation with previous guests around additional products that are inside your insurance. That's kind of how I see it.
Right.
Maybe Keagan, you can touch on the basics for our viewers because a lot of people get duped into buying insurance and they don't know what they're buying because they thought they bought car insurance and they get something else.
Right.
So maybe you can just give us some basics on what is embedded insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the explanations in the name itself, essentially it is insurance at most times at the point of sale. So it's buying insurance when you buy the product, insurance for the product you're buying.
So it's not like need based, or is it?
Well, essentially it is, but you know what? We've actually done a lot of innovative work with one of our clients in Singapore, and it's actually a couple of years back, and they spent a lot of time and effort focusing on embedded insurance, and actually touches on quite a pain point that we have in South Africa and in Africa in general in terms of penetration ratios, right? We have, I mean, Bianca will share on this as well, but we have a huge challenge with people wanting to buy insurance and thinking it's not affordable. Most times they go and buy a product and they don't actually budget for the insurance. But finding a way to embed the insurance into product kind of forces them to budget for the insurance as well. And that will help penetration ratios as well. From a tech perspective, I think working with the likes of Sapiens, being a global provider, we're able to identify those early market trends and we're able to bring that back. I mean, sometimes we're a bit late behind the curve in terms of innovation in insurance. And that's one of the advantages of working with a global provider is we're able to identify those
like the stuff in
early
Singapore.
trends. Exactly. And we're able to position and empower empower clients to be early adopters or early adapters of the
So I guess it's like, so everyone might not have access or think they have access to insurance. And they think it's too expensive and then they don't get the insurance. This embedded space, are you saying I'm buying a TV and then I get the TV insurance?
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying the insurance for my car and just getting other insurance. I'm actually buying something completely different and actually will cover that for you.
Yes.
Okay,
What you're referring to, if I understand you, is value-added products.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it a VAP.
I just
Yes,
wanted to
we
make
call
the
it
different,
Right.
different,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's a VAP, and that's added things. You add things onto, the primary policy.
car
and a
hire
value,
and all those other little
And a
things.
value-added benefit can't stand on its own. It's not
Okay.
primary. It's always ancillary to something.
Yeah.
Whereas embedded insurance is a full-on insurance product. It's just distributed differently at the point of sale. And what I like specifically about embedded insurance, insurance is, I think, to an extent, considered to be like something that you have to purchase, almost like a grudge purchase. I think embedded insurance turns it around, where insurance is not sold, it's bought. you buy embedded insurance
Right.
because you buy into the need for it. Or to use an example with the travel offering, when you buy your airline ticket, there's an opportunity to embed the insurance into that. A lot of people don't understand the risks that come with traveling. And I'm not talking about inconvenience. Inconvenience, it is that.
just one of them.
Inconvenience, you lose your bag and then you need. But the others is where you have a medical emergency and you need medical attention. And people don't understand the nuance of medical aid not, kicking in. When
I must
you're
actually, can I
internationally.
touch on something quickly
Yes,
before you move on?
yes.
Just specifically around travel. I had a claim 3 weeks ago. Client was in Mauritius
Yeah.
and went to hospital there for, I think, 3 or 4 nights. Over R1 million.
Yeah.
Over R1 million that they
Yes.
would have had to pay
Yep.
out of pocket without the insurance.
And that's the thing, and that's Mauritius. So if you get into a US based, like the US,
Yeah.
or it can really go, really, and that's what we want to impart, that need to actually have coverage in the event of an event. And that's where we would embed, when you take out your travel voucher, or whatever the case may be, to actually embed it at that point. The other thing about embedded insurance, there's different types where it's a soft embed, and some of it is so entrenched that you can't actually see the insurance. The challenge that we have as insurance professionals is that we should never reach a point where it's so deeply embedded that the purchaser does not know that they have the insurance.
Yeah, because it's not
Absolutely.
clear. It's not transparent. It's not
Yes, and also there will never be a claim, because how am I supposed to know
Right.
what to claim?
which is kind of happening now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not with Bryte.
Yes, not that right.
wouldn't
I
know.
know in some pockets you hear of it, but I think from a professional perspective, we have an accountability and responsibility to ensure that there is transparency and prominence with regards to what is being covered, what is being paid for, and to make the claim process as easy and accessible as possible. One of the things that embedded insurance can close is, the protection gap. So, our penetration rate from a South African perspective is probably about 11%, at least at the last that I saw it. Of that 11%, it's about 9% on the life side. And of that 9%, I would say 75% is funeral. So it skews it. So if you
Is this
take out
11% in total purchasing insurance?
the whole population,
Right.
11% of our population is insured currently.
yes. And if you
And
take
not even on short term, more life.
more life,
So
and
more funerals are getting paid, but the floods and the
100%.
riots and all these
Right.
things that everyone complained about, they don't have cover anyway. Okay, I just want to make sure that my people know, because as a broker, this frustrates me a little.
Yeah.
Because the fact that there's so little, so many people not insured in the country, that we have so many complaints about insurance.
Yeah.
It's actually it doesn't make sense to me, because a lot of, and you can hear I'm getting a little bit
Yeah.
aggro
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah.
because people come to me and they're like, insurers are this and insurers are that, and they never want to pay. And I'm like, yeah, but did you have the product? Were
Exactly.
you covered?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that I think I'll just close my continue, please, Bianca.
I like evoking the passion. So, and that's the stats. And if you take out funeral, we, from a non-life perspective, we're probably sitting at about 3.5%. And so that means the gap is like 96, give or take.
So that stat, the 75% of all vehicles on the road are not insured currently. It's more than that, actually.
It is
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
It is more than that.
Yeah.
And and you see it in some of the catastrophes that we've had in KZN with the floods. A number of people did not have insurance.
It wasn't under insurance. It was no insurance.
There was no
Yeah.
insurance. And the impact of that, even if I have insurance but my neighbor doesn't, our street is never going to be the same again. So you need to, from a sustainability, economic stability perspective, it's just not sustainable.
You need
We
enough
to
premium.
Yes, we need
Yeah.
enough premium. And that's why we have to be innovative with regards to how we're going to close that protection gap.
Sure.
And the way we've done insurance, it has held us in good stead for all this time. But we've got all these tech, we've got access to data,
Yeah.
we've got all of these things.
And you
if
guys
we-
are the data guys, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing about partnership is that if I partner with you and I partner with a retailer like Takealot or Amazon, I get access to a database that I can't get ordinarily, just because I don't have the administrative arms to get there.
Right.
But if I partner with the telco or an Amazon, for instance, then I can get access to actually distribute my products, not just because I want to make money, because that is also true. We need to make money as an insurer, but we want to create a sustainable insurance environment.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't help for 1 or 2 people to have insurance. We want enough people to have insurance so that we have a sustainable economy.
Yeah, and if I can just touch on that as well, because that's a fantastic point, Bianca.
Never thought about it like this.
I mean, Bianca summed it up really well. I mean, from a tech perspective, enabling insurers to be more agile. And also, I mean, like she said, there's a very negative stigma associated with insurers. And with us having the ability now with big data and tons of data and obviously interpreting correctly, we now have the ability to be more agile with products and give clients the flexibility to tailor products and make it more personal to them, which kind of helps with them owning an insurance product and getting away with that perception that, you know, you're not sure what you're getting, you don't get paid out.
You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah,
Kind of
you know, it really is now getting clients to be more part of the process and having more control in terms of what they are buying. And it's the tech guys that are trying to partner closer with our clients to give them that platform to be more agile, to be more self-sufficient and control their destiny from a product rollout, product strategy and go-to-market strategies as well.
Sure.
And I think, you know, previously insurers used to own the insurance space. A lot of the insurers I speak to, we have passed that. We understand that it's an ecosystem, and we understand that whilst we have the insurance expertise, we need to be able to partner with the other guys who understands the customer journeys. What's their needs? You spoke earlier on about a need. It's always about addressing the need, not what I as an insurer think you need, but what you need and how you want to access it. Because the way that I am distributing, the way I'm distributing through a broker, and we love brokers. I love brokers.
Thank you. I love you guys too.
Listen, we love brokers. It might not work for everybody. Somebody wants to receive on their phone and they want to talk to nobody. So we must be agile enough to be able to address all those little, and I'm not saying that, you know, every product can be done so, but we should stretch ourselves and partner with guys that will give us access, because things are moving so quickly, things are evolving so quickly. We need to be able to think broader than how we've done insurance before, to be able to close that protection gap and actually understand the customer's journey a bit better.
So in terms of need though, so as a broker, I try and find out, oh, okay, you need this, you know, so we advise based on a need and then bring a solution. With embedded products, I feel like the advice is not there. It's more like an educational thing. So the facts are there. This is how you are covered, and then you take it. Am I kind of, or is there an advice element to it? I'm just trying to find a space for us poor brokers on the side here.
Listen, there's always an opportunity for the broker to partner. There will never, at least according to what I know, there will never be a scenario where the broker is not in the value chain. I think it's just about how, you know, how are you participating? Is it still face-to-face, or is it, you know, more digital, or whatever the case may be? In some embedded products, there is an advice element. Most of them, I just think because of our maturity rate, most of them it's non-advice, and then you just click, and you take.
What's
the
a
product.
maturity rate?
What's that?
A maturity rate.
I'm saying, you know, from a South African perspective,
Okay.
Our maturity level is not, you know, when we compare ourselves maybe to London, UK market, Australia, and it's not because, you know, we haven't tried. I think we have an excellent financial services sector.
Probably one of the best, to be honest.
Exactly. You know, we have really good professionals. We've got all of that. We are recognized in the reinsurance market, and we have to layer that with the high levels of inequality, high levels of unemployment. So it would be unfair to compare us to a mature market just because we've got the infrastructure in place. You have to look at our nuances and things that we had to overcome and things that we are still working on, just to ensure that, you know, there's inclusivity, and affordability plays a big role. And I think that's the lens that we need to look at. And that's why I say, you know, maturity perspective. Yeah.
And Keagan, you guys with the data on the other side of things, you'll see all these shortfalls and gaps that Bianca's actually talking about. And then do you share that with the insurer, or how do you guys pick that up?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll actually give you a use case in South Africa. one of our clients back in 2019 came to us, and there was a big gap between their brokers and third parties that were selling insurance on behalf of the insurer. And there was a massive gap in terms of what was being done, how it's been administered, and they wanted help managing that. And at the time, our product didn't have that capability, but we introduced them to Ernix, which is one of our ecosystem partners now. And what they were able to do is manage the pricing of those brokers and third-party guys, and using data and interfacing to the primary policy admin, they were able to regain a lot more control. And people speak about big data, and data has become such a big part of the insurance business now that they're actually empowered to make a lot more informed decisions. From an IT perspective, data is a lot more organized and user friendly, and that actually introduces analytics into the place. And this is now where we can finally start talking about AI and machine learning models, because without the correct data, you have none of those. I mean, all of those models need to be trained. And the old saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. So it's really reshaping the way our clients, insurers, are thinking, the way they using the data to launch new products, to penetrate new market.
Are you launching some exciting things, Bianca?
Always.
Always. I loved it. Can we get a zoom in on that face? Eh? Did you see that? She was like, always.
Yes. We're always on the lookout for new innovations and things that are going to add value to the market, add value to our propositions from a Bryte perspective. I just want to touch on or latch onto the data issue. Data is very important. My hope for the insurance industry is that we have access to like an open data platform,
right,
specifically on risks that impact all of us, like natural catastrophes. It's low frequency, high severity.
I thought that existed.
There's
So
pockets.
insurers don't share anything with each other.
And there's a reason for it, because legislatively we cannot. The Competition Commission does not they don't frown upon it. They actually legislated that we cannot do it.
But if it's just data and like, I'm going to use it, please correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm being too dumb, but let's say there's fires in Eastern Cape. And we know how many fires happen every year in the Eastern Cape. We know this, etc. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And we can kind of create our product according to that. Surely that information is available to all insurers at the same time, or not really?
One would think. I think it's a combination of insurers wanting to hog data because, it's my capital, it's my investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is currency at the moment.
It is currency. Absolutely. It is currency. But imagine a world where you have access to everybody's data, including your own.
Hey, it's coming.
Your risk modeling, your pricing ability, everybody. And then from a holistic South African perspective, we can buy and we can pool risks, more accurately. And that's what I'm saying. My hope is that with our partnerships, because the data is there, it's just fragmented. It needs to be, available in a form that we all understand it and we can use it for the specific purpose, to better underwrite risks in flood areas, because somebody else has already done the work or some university has done the work. So I can actually use that information and then, have a better outcome. I think we're getting there. I think we need political will. It probably need a regulator as well to see it from that perspective, to allow us to actually share the data for that specific reason.
Yeah. And then, it was competition, or you mentioned the competition regulator over there. So would it create more competition or less having the open? Because I don't understand that. Having all the data available for everyone is exactly why I think the commission is there. I don't know, am I being silly?
No, you're not. Yeah. I think by us having access to the data, there'll be more competition, because then you can write more risks. And you're not, exiting specific areas because you don't have the data to be able to underwrite.
And it's not because of your capacity; it's actually just because of the data.
Yes, and you just don't know what you don't know.
Okay.
And I think it's looked at very narrowly, that you are sharing information that is of a competitive nature, and therefore there's a possibility of cartelling and that type of thing. But I think we need to look above that and see which are the risks that are systemic and impact all of us, and how can we collectively source and pool our information so that we can all have a better outcome and that nobody is exiting areas like KZN just because we don't understand the risk and we can't get the data to be able to model the risk more appropriately, which will then enable us to price more appropriately.
Yeah, because you guys have the actuaries that can take the data and model everything and rate it and stuff.
100%.
So for me, I would say, okay, there's your competition. That's where you differentiate yourself, is how you build those
100%.
products.
Correct.
But the data is just raw. It's there. I mean, it's in AI at the moment. You know, it's like you said, rubbish in, rubbish out.
That's it.
If an insurer is willing to use the data in the right way, then we've got something going. You know.
Yeah.
Flip, Keagan, did you want to add something there?
You know what? You actually, I mean, there is tons of data out there, but from a region perspective, and this is where, you know, we have advantages of working in a global perspective, but in South Africa, we actually lack a lot of data when it comes to these, you know, rain forecasts, catastrophes. It's almost like Bianca said, it's like people want to hold it as close to themselves
So the
as
data is
possible.
available, they're just not sharing it.
Absolutely. I mean, we partnered with Swiss Re, and we're working on their platform that obviously looks at all of the geographies and the weather and helps the underwriters obviously have the correct data to then underwrite as accurately as they can. But what we're finding is the product is great, but the data is not there. And it's really tough to, you know, get hold of the data, get rights to it. Believe it or not, South Africa is actually quite very strict when it comes to.
Well, I love from an advisor point of view, the Information Protection Act and all of these things that we have to kind of always put our passwords on our PDFs and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually all for it.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
I find that the poppy stuff is actually, if done right, it's actually it creates that trust and a little bit of like, wow, I'm
Absolutely.
dealing with someone who actually takes my information seriously.
100%.
You know, obviously this is not the info that we're talking about. It's not personal info. It's more, you know, it's like available info.
Yeah.
Right.
And that for me is strange, you know. But like you said, Bianca, it's maybe about holding the cards close to your chest because you've got the expertise and the guys that can build these products, and you don't want everyone just to
100%.
get the data. So I do understand it, and like we said, data is a currency at the moment. You know? And we've seen some of the big insurers, one or two of them, hog all the data. I mean, I think I'm with them for everything, and I struggle with that. I really do. I find that my data is all in one place. And I don't know, I've just got something to say about that, but I won't online. I think we all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, let's get back to embedded products just quickly, because I'm struggling just with how we distribute these things. Because you mentioned it's a little bit of a different distribution model compared to the normal insurance. Like myself, I sell the stuff. When it comes to distribution, does that come through like an Amazon and through an FNB, for instance, if they're selling some sort of product that's embedded in theirs? Or is that what you're saying? So they'll actually be the distributors for the insurance product. Do they have to be licensed for that type of thing then?
I don't think so, because at the back end, all we need is an API. We need to be able to integrate our system so that they can issue. But all of the policy wording, the policy, everything is done at an insurer level.
Okay.
It's just the distribution point that we are accessing. I mean, another example is, you know, for public transport, if you were to embed an accident product into the bus ticket or into, so in the event that that person is in an accident, they can claim.
Guys, that's an idea. Someone write it down. Write it down, somebody.
Because otherwise, I mean, how else will they know? And I know there's RAF that covers very specific instances.
But very specific instances.
Very specific instances. You would also want to have a personal accident as well, to be able to give you relief in the event of an event. So it's basically the distribution point of how to get the product across to the client, linked then to an API back to the insurer. So we're not outsourcing our obligations as an insurer. We're just opening up the distribution channel to be able to get access to a client at the point of sale. When they buy the ticket, the requirement for insurance then comes up, and they understand there's a bit of a script
TNC.
there, TNC explaining exactly what's being covered. And, you know, not having to move away and then having to think, oh goodness, I need this insurance. Now I need to go onto Google and start searching.
Because you don't really do that. You're like, okay, I'll get to it on Monday.
Yes, and then you never get to it. And then the event happens and then, then it's just devastating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Keagan, what would you say in distribution? Your thoughts on distribution around embedded?
I actually wanted to pick up off that topic because going back to expanding or increasing our penetration ratios, the world we live in now is, being a young professional myself, everyone wants things instantly. People don't even want to wait 5 minutes for Uber ride.
Yeah.
So it's about how quickly you can get it done, how quickly you can get the service, and nowadays the less human it's tough to say, but the less human interaction there is, the better it is for younger generations. And embedded insurance sort of feeds and positively benefits that. And obviously it's going in that direction. And it's just an additional distribution channel that I personally believe that we need. Sometimes it's awareness as well. It's a lack of education and awareness that the need for insurance, and buying a car and someone obviously informing you of the need of this. Obviously, it's just
Then
an
you
advantage
know.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
The other thing is that as insurers, you don't understand, or sometimes we don't understand the customer journey. Somebody who's on the ground will say, listen, if you look at how funeral has evolved, funeral now covers costs and services that nobody could envision 20 years ago. It's because
not
the
just your
person,
headstone now.
yes, it's because the person on the ground realized that the cost of a funeral is more than just the box. It is groceries, it is electricity, it is cars, it is. Had it not been for us having access to that, we would not have transformed the product. So I also like the partnership and embedded because the product design can better match the need of the customer.
So there's more innovation in the space, just purely because we are partnering with people that are on the ground and are thinking differently. And I like that because I think insurers have been under the mindset or have been under one kind of, or on one trajectory for a long time.
Right.
And we've seen a shift. I've kind of seen a shift in the industry where insurers are not these big, heavy things anymore. It's almost like they're leaning out, they're getting a little bit more agile, and they're actually moving along with the times. And I actually like that. The one thing I don't like is when they pull products and they say, not covered anymore, decline, we hate that. And I just don't, my biggest thing is there's a protection gap on risks that are still a need. And the data shows that there are those risks and are those claims happening. But insurers are doing the opposite. They're actually not creating products that will help that. They actually pull out of that space. Maybe that's a conversation for another time. But maybe if you want to touch on that, Bianca, Keagan, I don't know.
The thing is that insurance is insurance, reinsurance, capital markets. So we need the support. And if the support is not there or the data is not there to be able to justify it, it becomes a bit risky to underwrite. And that's kind of the reasons why you see us pulling products, not because we want to, it's just because we cannot afford to continue.
Yeah, sure. Any closing remarks? Usually I end this conversation with a little bit of an emotional kind of end, and I think I'll do it the same way. We were talking about partnerships, and I'm all for relationships. So let's get emotional. Keagan, if there was one thing that you could change in the industry, or you could bring that change to the industry, or even a difference that you would like to make in the industry, what would that be for you?
To be honest, it's something that's been done already, and it's something that TIA is doing and introducing, I like to say, sexy back to insurance. We're becoming innovative. It's becoming, it's all about people's appetite to innovate. And insurance, I think, personally, is getting there.
Yeah.
If not, they're
Well,
already.
you're in a checkered suit, my man. It's getting slick and sexy, I can tell you.
Yeah. So with AI, on the AI is here and it's changing the landscape of insurance. It's changing the way people think. We're on the cusp of innovation. And if there's one thing I would have changed, that is it. And I think we're
on the right track.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Bianca?
I love the funeral product. Funeral was able to invoke a tangibility, an emotion, where people don't view it as an insurance. It is insurance, but people don't view it as insurance. They view it as a need. I would want us to get to that with all risks, to bring a tangibility to it, to attack an emotiveness, because resilience, if my house is uninsured, I'm not resilient, because if something were to happen, then, I don't have a roof over my head and.
Yeah.
To attach that importance, that the tangibility that we've been able to do from funeral to other products. And I think once we get there, we will definitely see the close of the protection gap and a higher penetration, and most importantly, a more resilient South Africa, where we can, overcome, events like KZN floods or
just rebuild our shop again.
Exactly.
Or our home, and just continue with life.
Yeah, because we've bought into the fact, the way people buy into funeral, that it is a need and it's something that is required because of a whole host of things like dignity and whatever the case may be, which to me, having a house is also dignity.
Yeah.
So to bring that tangibility into the other products, then I think we're in the money.
Oh, Bianca, I love that.
Yeah.
Bringing the tangible to the intangible product. And I think if there's anyone out there that has some sort of idea on how to do that, speak to Bianca.
Yep.
She's there, and I'll get her email, I promise, after this. Guys, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
today.
Yes,
it was
thank you.
such an incredible conversation. I learned a lot. There were a lot of acronyms and things that I didn't understand. But I think our viewers at home are really going to know what to look out for now when they just buy their TV.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Jason.